ever dream of ditching the 9 to 5?
Yeah.
You know, like opening up that dream business, maybe a gaming lounge you've always talked about.
The classic dream.
Well, today we're diving into the story of Nick Begin, a guy who actually did it,
Oh, wow.
and learned some hard lessons along the way.
Okay.
This is a summary of the About That Wallet podcast, episode 278. And trust me, it's a real eye-opener about the not-so-glamorous side of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so what strikes me about Nick's story is the timing. You know, it's 2007,
Right.
pre-social media,
Oh, yeah?
and the economy's like teetering on the end of a recession. Talk about a challenging time to launch a business, right?
Yeah, not exactly a recipe for smooth sailing.
Right.
So Nick buys this gaming lounge, fueled by passion, who hasn't dreamed of turning their love of video games into a career.
Right.
The place already has a customer base, a decent location. It seemed like a sure thing.
On the surface, sure.
Yeah.
He even had a business plan
Oh, wow.
based on the previous owner's audited financials, which seemed like a pretty responsible move.
Totally. But here's where the excitement bumps into reality. Nick poured his heart, soul, and a whopping $300,000 into this dream.
Ooh.
We're talking all their savings plus multiple loans. The stakes were sky high.
And that's the thing about passion. Sometimes it can blind us to the risks. Looking back, there were some pretty big red flags that Nick missed. Think about it. Entertainment businesses are usually the first to suffer when the economy takes a hit.
Oh, for sure. And those loans hanging over his head, combined with the cost of running the lounge, created this constant pressure to make money. It's almost like the fun got sucked right out of his passion project.
Exactly. And that's the second red flag. The danger of turning a hobby into a job. Sometimes that shift can really drain the joy out of something you love. And in Nick's case, the third red flag was relying so heavily on birthday parties.
Right. That really surprised me.
Yeah.
I guess he hadn't fully grasped the whole catering to a specific clientele thing. Birthdays are great, but they're not exactly a reliable source of income, are they?
Not when a recession hits and people start tightening their belts. Suddenly those birthday parties dry up and you're left scrambling.
And that's exactly what happened to Nick.
Oof.
Just a year into his dream venture, he was forced to sell the gaming lounge.
Wow.
For a fraction of what he paid, narrowly escaping bankruptcy.
Oh my goodness.
I can't even imagine the feeling of seeing your dreams just crumble like that.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for sure.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the emotional toll entrepreneurship can take.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the money, it's about the hit to your confidence, your sense of self.
Totally. And the ripple effects extend way beyond just the business owner.
Right.
Nick's story really shows how these struggles can impact relationships, like his marriage.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that there's a human cost to these ventures.
But here's the thing about entrepreneurs.
Okay.
They're often incredibly resilient.
Right.
Even after such a crushing blow, Nick still considered starting another business.
Wow, that's some serious dedication. I guess you can't keep a true entrepreneur down.
Nope.
What's interesting is that he eventually found a different path.
Right, he did. He started a podcast, which, as he mentions in episode 278, carries far less risk and pressure than running a, brick and mortar business.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like he found a way to channel his entrepreneurial spirit in a way that better suits his life now.
It's almost like he found a better balance.
Yeah.
And speaking of balance, Nick's story also made me think about the advice he gives to his kids. He's all about encouraging them to pursue their passions, but with a healthy dose of realism.
That's a crucial lesson he learned from his experience.
Yeah.
It's not about discouraging ambition, but about tempering it with a clear understanding of the challenges involved.
Absolutely. Nick realized that failure isn't the end. It's a learning opportunity. He even talks about how his earlier resistance to learning actually played a role in his struggles with the gaming lounge.
That's such a powerful insight. It's like he had to go through that experience to truly appreciate the value of knowledge and being open to new ideas.
It's funny, he even mentions this hilarious anecdote about his friend, a nutritionist, who has a secret love for Halloween candy.
Oh, really?
It perfectly illustrates how we all have these blind spots.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a bit of a shakeup to make us see them.
And once we see those blind spots, we can start filling them in.
Right.
For Nick, that meant embracing a mindset of continuous learning.
Oh, that's good.
He even recommends some books that had a profound impact on him.
Yeah, he talks about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Yeah.
which sparked his love for reading.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing how a book can open up new worlds and ways of thinking, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's The Laws of Success, which offered him a framework for thinking about achievement in both his personal and professional life.
Interesting.
It's interesting how he chose those two specific books.
Yeah.
One that ignites the imagination and another that provides practical wisdom. They seem to
There will be bumps, detours, maybe even a complete U-turn or two.
Totally. But it sounds like the key is to learn from those bumps or adjust your course and keep moving forward.
Exactly. And to remember that those bumps, as frustrating as they can be, are often our greatest teachers. They force us to confront our assumptions,
Right.
refine our strategies, and ultimately become more resilient.
So thinking about Nick's journey,
Yeah.
what are the biggest takeaways for someone listening who might be dreaming of starting their own business?
Well, I think Nick's story highlights 3 crucial points.
Okay.
First, passion is essential, but it needs to be balanced with a healthy dose of realism and careful planning, You need to look beyond the excitement, assess the risks, consider the market, and have a solid financial plan in place.
Definitely don't let the excitement cloud your judgment.
Right. Second, embrace continuous learning.
Yeah.
The business world is constantly evolving, and staying ahead of the curve requires a willingness to adapt, learn new skills, and stay open to new ideas.
It's like that saying, what got you here won't get you there. Yeah.
You need to keep growing and evolving.
Exactly. And finally, remember that entrepreneurship is a deeply personal journey. It's not just about the bottom line. Mm-hmm. It's about the emotional and personal investment you're making.
Right.
So be sure to surround yourself with a strong support system and take care of your well-being throughout the process.
Such great advice. I think Nick's story has really given us a lot to think about, both in terms of, our own entrepreneurial aspirations and what truly matters to us in life.
It certainly has. It's a reminder that success comes in many forms, and sometimes the most valuable lessons are learned through our failures.
So true. Now, if you want to hear more about Nick's journey and all the wisdom he's gained along the way, be sure to check out the full episode of the About That Wallet podcast, episode 278.
Yes.
It's full of insightful advice and practical tips for anyone navigating the world of entrepreneurship. And for even more great content from About That Wallet, be sure to leave a 5-star review for the show on Apple. It helps others discover the podcast and supports their fantastic work.